What's good, YouTube? Alex here. Today I decided to shoot a video just because I haven't in a long time. It's been about a month and a half since my last video. Uh, it was on the Dark Magician deck, I'm pretty sure. But this time I decided to make a Red Eyes deck profile just because I uploaded this on my friend's Seto Kaiba's channel. If you don't know his channel, just go subscribe to him. He has a lot of good YouTube content. And I posted this on his channel, and some people wanted to see the updated list. So I decided to update it. And I was working on it earlier today, and I've been test playing it, and it's been doing fantastic. Of course, this list is a Red Eyes Turbo. The deck just wants to draw itself and put itself into the graveyard so you can bring the dragons back from the graveyard. So I'm going to start with the monsters. As you can see, I'm playing a playset of each of the Red Eyes monsters, the level 7s, of course. The reason is because you have so many draw cards in this deck. You have 3 Allures, 3 cards of the Redstone, and you have Red Eyes inside, and I'm playing Dragon Shrine. So you want to put these guys into the graveyard so you can bring them back later. Plus, they are the main combo pieces of the deck. I see a lot of people cutting Red Eyes to 2, the original Red Eyes, which is fine. But in this list, I feel that having the playset of each is just, it has to be like, it's perfect at 3 of each. I have a playset of the Black Metal Dragon. I was playing this at 2, but I decided to put it at 3 just because I'm playing 3 Allures. And the more dark targets I have, the better it is. Plus, the 600 attack boost is actually very relevant. It helps your Red Eyes fight Blue Eyes, just because your Red Eyes is weaker, you know, from nature. It's weaker than Blue Eyes. And the fact that it searches anything in your deck is just insane, to be honest. Like, it searches any Red Eyes card, which is really, really good. And it's not once per turn, so you can equip it as many times as you can. I'm pretty sure it's not once per turn. Yeah, it's not once per turn, so you can just equip 3 of these in your one turn, and they all search if they all go to the graveyard. So I decided to play 3. I'm playing 2 Blackstone Legends because 3 is not needed. This card, to be honest, is not needed at all. The main reason it's here is just because if I have a slow hand, it can become a Red Eyes monster. Or if I have a lure and I don't want to banish anything else, the stone will be the one I banish for a lure. So there's that. 1, I don't think it's enough. I was playing 1 in the last list, but I think 2 is the right number. I'm not playing any 1-for-1s or King Cabillos or any of that because, again, this is not the focal point of the deck. This card, the Blackstone, is just here to get you out of a breaky hand or be a lore fodder. As you can see, I'm playing 1 of each of the Fiends, the level 6 Fiends. The reason is that this is mainly a concept deck. Yes, it can be competitive easily, but if you're playing casual games, a lot of casual games, this deck is mainly to play casual games, my friends, these 2 guys are going to rape face. Summon Skull, it's an awful card to draw, but it's still like a beater. And the old fusion, the first fusion we got requires him to summon it. And the Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning has a very, very powerful effect. Like, if you don't know what it does, it says that once per turn you can destroy all your opponent's monsters that have less defense than his attack. And his attack is 2500. So he will be a Raigeki, pretty much. So like, this card gets out of hand very quick. So I'm just playing 101 for now. And remember, they're both darks for Allure. So that's why I'm maxing out on Allures, just because everything in the deck is dark. The next 2 one-offs, I'm playing Meteor Dragon Impact and Keeper of the Shrine. Keeper of the Shrine, it's an odd card just because it doesn't really do anything to unlock your hand. But the reason it's here is because of this card. It's a 3-off, which I'll come back to in a little bit. This card lets you get back your dragons back from the graveyard when your opponent destroys them. Basically, it puts you back in the game. It can be, if you would tribute summon a dragon monster, it counts as 2 tributes. So whatever dragon it brings back to your hand, it can be summoned again for you to like keep spamming the board with a card that I will show you in a little bit. And Meteor Dragon Impact, it's actually really good. The Gemini effect, it's a pseudo soft lock because the other Red Eyes you control, aside from himself, can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle. Even though he's weak, but they need to kill this guy before they get to the other dragon. So I decided to play 1 of each. And remember, for the new fusion, you need this card in the deck. So that's why I'm playing one of each. And for the last monster, I'm playing, of course, the Red Eyes Darkness Metal. This card is the nuts. If this card was a 2 or 3, the deck would just get out of hand very, very quick. So that's why I'm just playing the 1, because we're only allowed to play 1. And that's it for the monsters. That's not a lot of monsters because you want them in the graveyard. You want to put them in there as soon as possible and get them out of there. I'm going to get to the traps first because there are a lot of spells and there are not a lot of traps. For the traps I'm playing, the defensive traps I'm playing on Vanity's Emptiness, two-dimensional barriers. The reason is because this card lets you fight anything. If your opponent's deck relies on Synchros, Fusion, Xyz, you know what barrier does. But the main reason is that your deck does not get hurt by it. You can just call whatever and your deck still functions. It's basically like having a third Vanity's Emptiness, like second third Vanity's Emptiness, or a third barrier. That's why I'm not doing 3 barriers. I'm doing a 1 and 2, just because Vanity's is still the better card in theory and in price, of course. Any deck and every deck should be playing a Vanity's Emptiness. These two can easily become a Solemn Warning in a Compulse or Bottomless or like Solemn Strikes, but I want to have chainable traps. Everything in my deck is chainable, and I want to have that. Like if my opponent has Twin Twisters, I want them to be dead. That's why I'm not playing Strikes anymore. I'm doing Dimensional Barrier just because it can actually stun my opponent for the turn if they Twin Twister me. Yes, I'll lose Emptiness, but Emptiness is still like the best trap card in the game, so I'm gonna play it. And I'm playing 1 Red Eye Spirit. The reason is it's next to Red Eyes Metal Dragon. The reason I play this is because of this. If you resolve this on your opponent's end phase to bring back Red Eyes Darkness Metal, you're gonna win no matter what. This card, it's actually, in theory, it's bad. But when you're actually in a game, the things that it does, it's just too much. It brings your opponent's life points to 0 in the following turn. And why is that? Because it brings Red Eyes Darkness Metal. And Darkness Metal is a +1 every turn. If your opponent doesn't out it, then you're gonna start like racking like a lot of damage on them, and a lot of free summons. So that's it for some of the traps. In the last 2 traps, I have 2 Return of the Red Eyes. I have this at 2 and Red Eyes Spirit at 1, just because this one is the better trap. This one lets you bring a normal monster from the graveyard once per turn, and if it's destroyed, it lets you bring a Red Eyes monster. So if your opponent doesn't deal with this card, they are probably going to lose in 2 turns, just because this is a monster reborn every turn. That's why I'm maxing out on the Red Eyes monsters to play this. So that's it for the traps. That is 6 traps. Again, you don't have to play Dimensional Barrier. This can be anything, but in my opinion, Barrier is just too good not to play. And for the spells, there are a lot. I have 3 Curse of the Redstone, trade in for the deck. It speeds up the deck. I know so many people play this at 2 or 1. I'm playing it at 3 just because I want to open with it. If you open with Curse of the Redstone, Allure, and Red Eyes, you're just going to dig through your deck and put everything where it needs to be, which is the graveyard, for you to revive and, kill your opponent. So I'm playing 3 Allure Darkness because I'm allowed to play 3 copies of it, and I will be playing 3. Every deck and any deck that I have that has dark monsters will have 3 Allures, of course. The card is nuts. Being at 3 is just fantastic. 3 Red Eyes Insight. Red Eyes Insight's a Rhoda for all your spells and traps. It fuels your graveyard. If you open Red Eyes Insight, you can put 5 dragons in the graveyard just because it sends 1. You get the fusion, which is right here. You send 2 more, and then the fusion will send another 1. And when the fusion dies, that's the 5th dragon. So it fuels your revival cards. So 3 of it's like mandatory. By far the best spell card in the deck. Next to this, of course, Return of the Dragon Lords. I'm pretty sure you all know what it does. Revives the dragon, it protects it, so why not 3 of? And to complement this, I'm playing 1 Silver Scry. I'm not playing Soul Charge anymore just because the deck can bring back every dragon at will, so Soul Charge is not needed. That's why I decided to play Silver Scry, just because a quick play lets me OTK my opponent when I need it to. And I'm only doing 1 Dragon Shrine because the deck does a very good job at sending dragons to the graveyard, so you don't want to like draw multiples of Dragon Shrines. Just the 1 is fine. If it's in my opening hand, that's great. If not, then that's cool. It sends a Keeper of the Shrine late game. It's a good card, just a 1-up. You don't really need more than that. 2 Red Eyes Fusions, not 3, just because it's cloggy. You can search it with this. You draw it with these cards, so 2 is perfect. I have never ever resolved a third. I've played the deck for a while, and I've never really needed the third. And if I ever do, then I'll just add it, I guess. But as of right now, 2 Red Eyes Fusion is just fine. 2 Twin Twisters for the last spells. I feel that this deck can easily go first and establish a decent board. But if you go second and your opponent stops your fusion with a trap, you're stunned for the turn because the fusion won't let you summon anymore. So you need to like hit those back rows before you commit to a play. So that's the main reason why I'm playing 2 Red Eyes Fusion instead of 3, and I'm not playing 3 Twin Twisters because it gets cloggy. So there's 2 of it's actually very, very clutch. So that's it for the main deck. That is 40 cards. Of course, it's a turbo deck, so you need to minimize the amount of cards that you play. And remember, if you have chainable spells and traps, it's much better for your opponent to not deal with it. So that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, there are not a lot of cards in the extra deck, but I'll show them to you. I have 2 Meteor Black Comet Dragon. This is a new guy. 3,500. It's actually relevant. It fights Blue Eyes, and it makes them like have to make an Xyz to get over it, and in return you punish them for that. So he's actually insane. Since I'm playing 2 of the of the Fiends, I'm playing 2 of the Fiends, which I still don't like this card as much, but it's a dragon I can bring back with Red Eyes Darkness Metal. So I'll play 2 of. For the best card in the main card of the extra deck, I play 3 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Probably my favorite card and the only reason why I play this deck, to be honest. I'm not really a big fan of Red Eyes. I'm a Dark Magician guy, but this card is like insane. Like the fact that you abuse it in its own deck, it's just crazy. So you have to play 3. 2 is not an option, and 1, it's like, come on. Draco Sack, just because it comes up at times, you need to blow up some like spells and traps that you can't deal with. So it's free, you know. Draco Sack is always going to be great. And then I have a number 11 Big Eye, which taking your opponent's monster is actually great at times. You know, you can't deal with like 3,000 beaters at times, just take him. There should be an Odd Eyes Rebellion Xyz Dragon, but it's in one of my other decks, and I don't feel like going and grabbing it. So remember, the Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, it's a 3,000 dragon that you can make to beat over things and protect with this. And for the last Xyz, I'm playing number 24 Dragula's the Vampiric Dragon. The reason is because at times you will have any of these 2 and any combination of these 3, and that will not be enough to like stun your opponent in their turn. So instead of keeping these guys on field, you overlay them into this guy, and this guy has protection from your opponent's plays. If you don't know what it does, I can tell you what it does. It states that once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach a material, target a monster from the extra deck, and put it face down defense position. When this card is flipped face up, it can send 1 card your opponent controls to the graveyard. So it does not target, it just sends it to the graveyard, which is really, really good. And if this card is destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effect, it comes back face down. So if they don't answer it, it just flips face up on your turn and sends something to the graveyard for you to do plays. So just the 1 is actually cool. Just because rank 6 don't really come up that often, but when it does, it's actually relevant. So that's it. That's my take on Red Eyes for this format. Let me know what you think of the deck. I know I haven't posted a lot, like any content in a long time, but I've been busy. Life is tough at times. Again, thank you for sticking around. Again, let me know what you think of the deck. If you see anything that I could change, or if you want me to, if you guys have any decks that you would like me to work on, definitely just send me the list and I'll help you. I'll gladly help anybody if it comes to the game that we all love and enjoy. So thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I am out. Peace.